Chapter 33. Bradley was terrible. He dribbled with two hands. He passed the ball to people who weren't on his team. But worst of all, when anybody passed the ball to him, he said, "Thank you." He never shot the basketball. He didn't dare. Finally, after his team was losing 28-6 anyway, everybody else told him to try a shot. He looked around for somebody to pass it to. Jeff sat down so Bradley wouldn't pass it to him. "Just shoot," he said. The rest of his team sat down too. "Shoot it," they all said. Everybody else on the other team sat down too. "Shoot the ball!" Bradley faced the basket. His tongue slipped out of the corner of his mouth as he carefully aimed. Then he threw the ball high in the air. It hit the back of the rim, bounced against the backboard, and then dropped through the net. "Great shot," said Jeff. "Yo, way to go," said Andy, patting him on the back. At first he couldn't believe it, but then he saw Carla's book lying on the ground at the base of the basket. No wonder, he realized. Everybody headed for the water fountain. Bradley went along too, even though he wasn't thirsty. But then once he got there, he realized he was thirsty. He just hadn't noticed. "Good game, Bradley," said Brian. "Yeah, you just have to stop passing the ball to who aren't on your team," said Dan. "Yeah, maybe you should get the rest of us on your team black eyes," said Robbie. Then you'll know who to pass the ball to." Everybody laughed, even Bradley. He and Jeff were the last two left at the water fountain. Everyone else had already started back to class. As they drank, their eyes met and they broke up laughing. "How did you get that black eye?" Bradley asked after he stopped laughing. "Melinda," said Jeff. Bradley nodded. "She's strong," said Jeff. "Oh boy, you can say that again," said Jeff. They laughed again. "My book!" Bradley suddenly exclaimed. He ran back to the basketball court where he had left it. Jeff shook his head as he watched Bradley run away. Life's weird, he thought. He walked into the boys' bathroom and splashed his sweaty face with cold water. He had to hold the faucet down with one hand and splash his face with the other. Colleen Varigold walked in. He stared at her. She looked around, then screamed and ran outside. Jeff watched the door swing shut behind her.